Guten Morgen, wir haben heute Gelegenheit, mit Herrn Robert Baldock von Monument Mining zu sprechen. Wir werden direkt in das Gespräch einsteigen und uns zu den Minen in Malaysia und Australien des Unternehmens informieren lassen. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Vaughan. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. I hope you're doing well there in Malaysia. Um, it looks like it because you just released a couple of press releases with interesting information concerning your Silencing mine and also the Murchison project in Australia. Um, let's start with Silencing. You just announced that you're commissioning a intact pilot plant at the mine. Can you remind us of what that is supposed to do for you and why you went that way?
Yes, I can. The news release sets out some of that information. I hope most of it. It's important. But at the bottom line, we are engaged with Intech to prove that the Intech process will economically process the sulphide ore at Silencing. That, of course, makes a big difference to the project. It extends the life. And one of the things that we need to do is to be able to prove that. So for about a year, we've been doing bench work. Now we're about to confirm that bench work can be done in a continuous process. So we've built the pilot plant.
Okay, so the pilot plant will be running for how long, and when do you think you will have the results that will enable you to know if you can use the process in a commercial plant?
Well, we will run this. We're in commissioning, what's called commissioning phase at the moment. That means you build a new plant and you can't just hit the button. Things always turn the wrong way. Something's been forgotten. Something doesn't work properly. So we commission it and we make sure we achieve what's called steady state, which means it's got to achieve its objectives for 7 days, 24 hours a day. And once we've got it to steady state, we then bring in independent people who are consultants. They're hydrometallurgists, they're chemists, they're metallurgy people, and they observe, take photos, take notes, and confirm that the whole process is working as it should. At that point, they leave. We continue testing different regimes, and that whole process will be finished, and we will report internally, technically, and fairly thoroughly before the end of November this year. After it's been reported by us internally, we hand that internal report to the external consultants that did all the observation, and we get them to write a separate standalone report that says, yes, everything that we've said in that report is true. They were there, they saw it, here's the pictures, here's the results, and that would then enable us to be able to say we can treat that sulphide material.
Okay.
Then we go to the next step and look at how we can commercially apply that to Silencing and treat the sulphide ore at Silencing and Buffalo Reef projects.
And with the reports, would you also get some indication of capex and opex, what kind of money you need to build the commercial version, and what you need, what kind of costs for operation you need?
Yes, exactly right. You've hit it on the head. In our instruction to the independent consultants, part of their brief is to produce capex and opex estimates and projections so that we know that it's economic. Because without it being economic, we cannot say that the sulphide ore can be part of our resource.
And that's the next point I was coming to, because it also says in the press release that once this process with Intech is complete, and as you said, it's you have decided it can be used commercially, then you can include the sulphide resources in your calculation. Is that right?
That's correct, yes, because the 43101, if you're just producing a resource, that's a geological resource, that's one thing. But if you're producing reserves and measured and indicated material that you claim is economically treatable, you've got to be able to demonstrate that. And with a new process like Intech, you have to go through these steps that we're going through. And so we will get chemists, metallurgists, hydrometallurgists, geologists, mining engineers, all sorts of people that will individually sign off within the 43101 that comes out, and we're hoping to get that out by about the end of March 2016.
Okay, great. One thing is this process, this Intech process, it is not limited to gold, right? To gold ore. You can try to use it for base metals, copper.
Yes,
in the next step.
That's correct. In fact, Intech has been running at a place called Burnie in Tasmania for about 9 years, producing base metals. And we intend to use it at Megapure. We have to prove that again. We have to go through a similar process. But what it will enable us to do at Megapure, it will change the economics of that project completely. It'll allow us to produce, if we're successful, and that's a question at this point, but it will allow us to produce copper metal, close to or at LME grade copper, within Malaysia. So we don't have to make a concentrate and ship it to the Philippines or Taiwan or Japan for smelter. So we eliminate the international freight component, we eliminate the smelter fees and all the debits that they hit you with because it has a contaminant or something else that they don't like and they don't want to pay for. And we'll just produce it at our site as copper metal, and that can be sold internally within Malaysia to the fabricators and manufacturers of copper piping, copper metal tubing, copper wires, and a range of copper products that these manufacturers presently have to import the copper into the country. They have to use scarce US dollars, which is a capital outflow, which they have to get permission to do from the government, because every government is trying to protect their currencies, especially these days. So it would be a big boost, and we're likely to get, if we're successful in all of that, we're likely to get similar tax benefits from the government that we've got with Salincing. And I should just add that the government has already given us 100% immediate write-off for the work that we're doing on Intech at Salincing. They've encouraged us to be able to do this because it makes the mine life last longer. It employs people for longer. So they give us those sort of benefits.
Okay. Okay, not to get too long, let's move from Malaysia to Australia, where you're working on the Murchison project. Now, a while back, you released some news that it's going to take a bit longer than you originally might have thought. Since then, you have taken some steps. Can you tell us where you're at now and what your plans are with getting the heap leach circuit back to work?
Yeah, sure. I need to just make a small correction there. The heap leach doesn't need to be got back to work. It's never worked. There has never been a heap leach project there. It was an ambition of the former owners. They went out and they bought a second-hand heap leach plant from another project. They pulled it up, and they did that by contract, not themselves. And these guys were not terribly careful when they disassembled the plant. They put it on trucks and brought it over to the Burnakara project near Meekatharra. and they just dumped it on the ground not very carefully, and it wasn't done well. And of course, you've got to keep in mind it was done in an environment where the company was short of money, and many mining companies are in the same sort of boat, including Monument. We haven't got unlimited money. And we didn't understand at the time just how much it would cost to get that all going again and how much it would take. So we've been working on that with engineers, external engineers, and the news release is all about the fact that we now understand what we've got. We've shipped some of that to Perth, Western Australia, to their works in North Fremantle. And we have agreed an arrangement with them where they will, first of all, pull it all to bits, and we've been on site to their works and looked at it in pieces. We can see what needs to be done. They will give us costs and timetables on all of that. They've already given us an indication, and that'll enable us to confirm exactly how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take to get this project put together again, create and construct the heap leach pad and load the pad with ore after we commence mining and get the pregnant liquor flowing through the plant and make gold. So that project, that process, we've outlined what we think the timetable is that we can achieve. That's been given to us by Como engineers. They're on board with that, so we think we can achieve that and put that into production.
So, as it says in the release, perhaps by the end of June 2016, next year.
Yes, that's correct, yes.
Now, that's good to have an update on all these projects. Just one general question to round it out off, as we're talking about Australia. I mean, it's a good country to be in for gold producers at the moment, especially because of the Aussie dollar falling further and further. Is that also a reason why you went there originally, or have you been following that development?
No, that wasn't the driver for us to go to Australia. On the one hand, Australia is suffering from the, or gaining, benefiting from the Aussie dollar collapse, that's for sure. But you've got to keep in mind that there are mining companies there that are exporting iron ore, and they're hurting a bit too. So it's not a win-win for everybody. But our main reason for going there, Vaughan, was that we are trying to diversify risk profile of Monument. In other words, we're fairly well established in Malaysia. We still see a reasonably long life in Malaysia, particularly with Intech being proven, should that happen, and we're confident it will. But we need to diversify country risk. We need to diversify single profit source risk, so that if one project collapses or hits problems of whatever sort, we can still survive and still have cash flow and profits, keep our people, which is a big asset of the company. It's taken us a lot of effort and time to assemble this team of people. And we need to not just have the single project or profit site expanded, but we need to expand the different types of metals, because we've been around for a long time, one way or another. We know that what's up today could be down tomorrow, and vice versa. So copper, when we started and we bought Mega Pure, iron was $195 a tonne. Today it struggles to be $50 a tonne. Copper was in the recent past $7,000 a tonne. Now it struggles to be $5,000. So you get that sort of volatility in the metals market. But gold hangs in there, even though it was much higher before. But we've shown that we can produce fairly good gold and fairly good cash flow out of gold, even at those reduced prices today, 1100s, and we think we can continue to do that. But it does not hurt to have other metals up your sleeve. So diversifying, to summarize, we're diversifying single profit source, single metal, and single country.
Okay. Thank you for the talk.